Whenever you're ready, Mr. Page.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning. On the 11 a.m. docket, I call the first case, Mr. Daniel Halpern, Brooke Edmond, and Sabrine Shaw, Atlanta Restaurant Partners, LLC, trading as TGI Fridays, 2435 Liberty Heights Avenue. This is a Class B beer, wine, and liquor license. A request to add live entertainment. Please come forward.
You representing them?
I am. Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. For the record, my name is Linda Carter, and it's always a pleasure to be before you. I'm here today with Mr. Halpern, who is a licensee. Sabrine Shaw is, I think, at the front door coming in within minutes. But if we could proceed, because I'd like to make proffers for the record.
Okay. Before we do that, can I ask you to raise your right hand, sir, and this gentleman will swear you.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
And you have his name?
Which one were you?
Daniel Halpern, Halpern.
Thank you.
Okay, you may proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. It's my understanding that in order to amend this license to include live entertainment, we need to do a variety of things, including demonstrate public need and desire, prove that there's a lot of existing licenses in the area, potential commonality or uniqueness for our license and impact on the community. We definitely have a public need and desire. We have had multiple requests from our customers to have, and I use the term live entertainment very loosely, because what we're really talking about is having a DJ 3 nights a week, from 9 o'clock to 11 on Thursday nights, and 9 o'clock to 12 on Fridays and Saturdays. There's no other entertainment involved, no dancing, no live music, no bands, no cover charges. At all times of operation, our kitchen is fully functional. In fact, right now, our food-alcohol ratio is 80-20. We anticipate worst case scenario, or best case scenario, depending on the business perspective, going to 75-25 food-alcohol. As the board is well aware, there are really no other licenses in this area. There are certainly no other full-service, sit-down restaurants that have the type of menu that TGI Fridays has at this location and at every location. We think this is a very unique operation, especially given its location. And in terms of the impact on the community, as the board may well remember, we actually started construction one day before the riots. And we could have pulled out, but we didn't. And my clients have invested $3 million in the property. They've created 100 jobs. It's been a real benefit to the community. The other thing that they've done is, because they are concerned about the security of not only their customers, but their employees and the surrounding neighborhood, they also employ Baltimore City police officers. In fact, every Tuesday...
You mean off-duty officers?
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. Every Tuesday at 2 o'clock, they meet with the police department to review the security plan. The police are on the premises I've got that in my notes somewhere. I didn't stick with my program, so they're on duty from either 8 or 9 o'clock every night until closing. And if the police department feels that additional police officers are warranted during DJ music, they will absolutely put them in the premises. Obviously, as you all know, they can't wear uniforms while off-duty, but they do wear T-shirts that clearly identify them as police officers. And we only employ Baltimore City police officers for our security. Every customer that comes into the Fridays at this location is given a wristband. And the wristband isn't a right to buy alcohol. It just simply does 2 things. It allows us to count how many people are coming in, because we only have wristbands equivalent to our capacity. So when we run out of wristbands, that's it. But it also allows the police to easily identify people in the parking lot that are Friday's customers. So if there are people hanging around the parking lot because nothing else is open, when we're open, the police know that they should move them on, and they do so.
So what the plan for the DJ is 3 nights a week and what hours?
Yes, sir. 3 nights a week.
Are we talking weekends?
On Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays, from 9 to 11 on Thursdays and 9 to 12 on Fridays and Saturdays.
Okay.
Last call is half an hour before closing, and I asked my clients if they turned up the lights at that point, and the response was no, because we never dim them.
Okay. And did you have anything you wanted to offer into evidence other than what we have?
We do have petitions, but they haven't made their way through the door yet.
Okay.
But
Okay.
that would be our case, Mr. Chairman.
Petition, well, these are customers or what?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And do you know how many?
I haven't seen them. I know that talking to Sabrine Shaw, who is not only the resident licensee, but is now actually the general manager of this unit, that they have requests on a daily basis for DJ music.
People want to have loud music blaring while they eat.
I guess so.
God bless them. Okay. Do the commissioners have questions for Mr. Halpern or council?
I'll defer.
So, a couple questions. I understand that that this is as a matter of right. You don't need BMZA approval. Okay, so that's certainly a positive. Mr. Halpern, do any of your other establishments have live entertainment anywhere else?
Yeah, most of our locations.
Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We own and operate about 45 TGI Fridays from here to Miami, and in probably 90% of the locations, there's some form of either live entertainment or DJs or both.
And I just want to I want to make sure I heard you have been working with the community with this request, and
Correct.
and you're having an ongoing discussion. with them.
Correct.
Great. That's all I have. Mr.
Is there an official community organization that you deal with?
Not that I know of. I think it's been more ad hoc, but it's everything from Coppin State University to the mall to a couple of the community-based organizations in the surrounding area.
Okay.
So I had a few questions. I've actually had the opportunity to visit this location and have dinner there. My husband thought it would be a great place for date night, so I went.
Did it work?
It went pretty well. Yeah, we left together, so it was, I mean, it was
You had
okay.
me going there for a minute.
It was okay. So my question is, where exactly will the live entertainment be? Because it's a very large open
In the bar area.
in the bar area,
Yeah.
which is sort of you come in and you
It's
go to the right.
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm not recalling that there was a lot of open space in the bar area.
No, there's not. So I think to her
Yeah.
point, there's no room for dancing and all that kind
And
of
we
stuff.
don't want
Yeah,
dancing.
yeah.
Nope,
I
no
think there was a
dancing.
movie about that. It ended up with dancing. So you don't want dancing?
No.
Okay. So do you have a DJ in mind? Or
I'm sure that Sabrina and John Faison, the general manager, they don't let me in those details.
Okay. So one of the things that I did notice, there's a good amount of parking, but sometimes when you bring in live entertainment, you get more people.
Correct.
And I want to know what the plan is to manage additional guests.
We have a cross easement, so we can use any of the mall's parking, which is right across that kind of loop road.
Have what?
We have an easement for parking,
Okay,
so they can park anywhere they want
All right, so you
in the
can
mall's
s-
parking lot
You can spill over to, I guess it would be the south of.
by Target,
over
in
by
between our
Target.
restaurant and Target, and
Okay.
a mall entrance.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
We often get complaints or concerns about noise management. You're pretty separate from, there aren't really any residences near this location, but what do you anticipate in terms of noise levels and, anything like that? And you'll need to be sworn
Sorry, you need to
in.
identify yourself and raise your right hand.
Oh, both of you, if you're going to testify.
Are you testifying?
Yes. He'll swear you in.
Raise your right hands. Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Are you Brooke Edmond?
I'm Sabrina Shaw.
Sabrina?
Just Sabrina.
Sabrine.
Shaw.
Just speak into the microphone, please.
And your name, sir?
John Faison,
Spell that, please.
Faison.
Thank you.
You folks are on TV and we're being recorded. That's why we need you to speak into the phone. And you get to watch this if you stay up late some night and you can't sleep on Channel 25. Okay. So, did you have something additional?
I do, if I
So
could
the
please.
question was on noise, but do you want to, and I had a few more questions, but I can wait.
Oh, no, please.
So my question, you mentioned that the security will be off-duty police officers and you meet with the police department on a weekly basis. Are you actually meeting with the Baltimore City Police Department?
Yes, Major Briscoe, we had a meeting with her on Tuesday.
And she's the commander for that
She's the
area?
major of the Western District, along with the head of the mall security at Madalman Mall, and my
Just
security,
speaking to the microphone.
and my security officers also.
Okay. I'm not familiar with the licensee having that level of communication with the police department. Can you just give us a flavor of the kinds of things that you go over and that you discuss?
Well, it was the first meeting that we had together, because we want to be proactive. If we had a DJ event,
So you've just had one meeting?
we have one meeting, but moving forward, we'll be attending, and my security person will be representing TGI Fridays at the major's weekly meeting.
So that's a meeting that the police department has that's open to any and everybody who's interested, and you're going to send
Yes.
a
we'll be-
representative?
Yes, every
And-
Tuesday.
Okay, I'm glad I asked, because that was very different than what was represented, which I thought was you all have a meeting and you bring them in to tell you how to manage your business, and that's not the case at all,
Well, that
is
is the
it?
case our first meeting that we had to help us as a team to help manage the business and also help manage events that we'll have in the future.
Okay, okay. So the other question I had was, it was represented that your security are off-duty police officers, and they're not uniformed, and I'm assuming they're not armed either, are they?
They're
Or-
armed, but they don't have the Baltimore City uniform. They're not allowed to wear that on off-duty.
But they
actually,
wear
They
the
have
T-shirts.
T-shirts that says police,
why? I mean, why?
just to identify them
Okay.
as a presence.
But I guess here's my can I just be candid? It feels like, and I like the place. I've been there. I told them already. My husband took me there, and it was very lovely. And I just want to understand the environment and why it's felt that there needs to be an environment where the police are clearly and visibly represented as the Baltimore City Police Department in their T-shirts with weapons. I just want to understand why it's felt that that's needed at a family restaurant.
It's only at nighttime, between 8 and when we close, or 9 when we're closed. It just gives the community a feeling of safe environment. They're not, standing posted up at the front door. They're in areas that they're really not seen a lot. And they don't do, we haven't had that much problems. But we just want to be on the proactive.
Is that something that you do at your other establishments?
Probably about half of our restaurants. They also patrol the parking lots in a lot of malls now. In some of our locations, there's this breaking in people's cars, employees' cars, guest cars. So that their responsibility is also to walk the perimeter of the building, keep an eye on the parking lot.
All right, can I ask one more question? And whoever has the answer, please share it. Why Baltimore City Police officers in their Baltimore City Police T-shirts with weapons, as opposed to a private security company that is not wearing shirts that say the Baltimore City
It doesn't-
Police Department?
It doesn't say Baltimore City Police on it, just says police. And it is a private security company, but they use off-duty officers, correctional officers, Metro Police, those
Okay,
type.
and maybe I misunderstood, but before you got here, I thought that the testimony or the representation was that it was going to be, or it is, Baltimore City Police Department officers off duty wearing Baltimore City Police Department T-shirts,
No,
but
they're not.
maybe
I
No.
apologize, because that was
that's
my
not the
understanding.
case. Okay, so just to clarify, tell me who's going to be doing the security,
RK Security Company.
and they won't be wearing T-shirts that say Baltimore City
No.
Police. And I'm asking for a reason, and you can imagine why I'm asking.
It says
'cause-
police.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, all right.
If
Thank you.
Good. Something that I learned recently in another jurisdiction that requires that off-duty security personnel be police officers from that jurisdiction. I was advised that even though you're a police officer in another jurisdiction, you might not have full police powers. So in this instance, my understanding, based on what you've just said, John, is the people that this security force employs do in fact have police powers in Baltimore City. And I think that's really important, that should something arise in the parking lot, we want that incident to be stopped and not have to call the police for assistance because they're there.
Thank you.
right, thank
Commissioners
you.
have further questions?
I do not.
Mr. Moore?
No.
Okay, the petitions that were signed by customers have been submitted. We'll give them to Ms. Russell. They'll be made part of the record, as will the evidence that we have contained in our record. Having heard testimony of the licensees and the proffers from counsel and considered the record, the support from the customers, there's no opposition in the record from anyone in the business or residential community. We don't have a record of any violations at this location, and the limited aspect of the application for 3 nights a week for limited hours, just DJ entertainment, I would vote in support to approve that.
I concur with the chairman and would also underscore and thank you for your investment in the city. You know, obviously we had some issues a little over a year ago, but we, you know, speaking as a citizen, a resident, I appreciate your investment and your commitment to move forward on this a little over a year ago. Thank you.
And I concur and also very much appreciate the investment. And I recall when you first appeared and talked about it and how recent it was to what I call an uprising. And, you know, it's a wonderful place. The investment is obvious. It's a very comfortable place to be. And I would expect that there will never be a need for any enforcement action at this location, because it really is very nice. Okay.
Best of luck to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, and my apologies again for,
It's okay.
that's how I understood it, so I
Oh,
apologize.
it's okay. I
Thank
just
you.
think
No, I'm
we're all
glad,
feeling
so now I know too.
okay.
Is she gonna enter the exhibits?
Ms. Russell?
You
did
gonna introduce the exhibits?
I just didn't go off the record yet. that's all.
No, he's waiting.
Thank you.
Okay.
Exhibits, licensee exhibit, received. Number 1, petition.
Off the record.
That's it. What is
Ms.
this?
Page?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Second case on the 11 a.m. docket, Michael Katsopoulos and Miranda Bartling, Port City Tavern, Inc., trading as Port City Tavern, 2036 Eastern Avenue. This is a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license, an application to transfer ownership. Please come forward.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Peter Previs on behalf of the proposed licensees or applicants. To my right is Mr. Michael Katsopoulos.
Good morning. Mr. Katsopoulos, would you raise your right hand, please?
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Mr. Previs, is Ms. Bartling going to be president?
She is not, Your Honor. She works for an emergency veterinary hospital in Annapolis, and the matter for scheduling came on fairly quick, and we weren't sure about Mr. Katsopoulos' availability because he's planning a trip to Greece, which is happening in 2 weeks from now. So she wasn't.
Must be inundated with people from the liquor board. Everyone I know has been in Greece this summer.
Nice place.
When
to
are
be.
you going, Mr. Previs?
I don't know. As soon as I stop paying tuitions, I guess.
The reason I asked about Ms. Bartling is that my firm's conflict check showed up either someone named Miranda or someone named Bartling, and I just wanted to inquire whether she'd ever been represented by our firm, Whitefer Taylor Preston.
She is not, Your Honor. She is, in fact, my niece.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you. I appreciate the representation.
Thank you.
Okay, this is for transfer of ownership. Do you want to
Ownership
proceed?
only, and if I may proceed by way of a proffer.
You may.
This is JHJ Saloon, 2036 Eastern Avenue. Mr. Katsopoulos has entered into a contract to purchase the real estate as well as the business and liquor license for a total purchase price of $205,000. He has applied for a loan with M&T Bank and expects to hear approval next week. The contract is contingent on the loan going through. Although Mr. Katsopoulos is from New Jersey, as it shows on the application, he has a lot of contacts with the Baltimore area. One of his sons lives in Perry Hall, and they have a grandbaby, so he and his wife are here 3 to 4 days a week anyway. He's currently a real estate investor and does not have an open and operating business, so he's planning with his wife and one of his sons to operate this business. It's expected to be operated as it has, as a quiet, local neighborhood tavern. One of the family members will be there at all times, be it Mr. Katsopoulos or his wife or his son. They do plan, after they get up and running, to do some renovation, some cleaning up, and they plan on putting a small kitchen in as well. Currently, the place does not have any food. There's no request for live entertainment. The prior owner advises me that years ago it was a guitar bar, but they discontinued that several years ago. There's no request for outdoor table service. There's no request for live entertainment, and they expect to operate it as a family business in a quiet, local neighborhood establishment.
If the loan is approved, when do you anticipate that they would close on this?
By the end of September, Your Honor, depending on Mr. Katsopoulos being back in town.
And-
I'm sorry. Mr. Katsopoulos has years and years of experience with bars and restaurants. He's been alcohol certified several times in New Jersey. He understands what he has to do. He understands that he will be getting an alcohol awareness certificate in Baltimore City, in Maryland. Ms. Bartling has no prior experience, but she lives about 6 blocks from the premises. And my knowing Ms. Bartling, she will be a hawk because she doesn't want anything associated with her name to be disreputable, and she plans on visiting the premises once a week.
What's the relationship with the community there in Eastern Avenue?
Because this was merely a transfer of ownership only, I hadn't heard anything from the community. There were no requests. There was no request to attend a meeting or anything.
Okay. The commissioners have questions?
Mr. Katsopoulos, I noticed that in the application, it appears that, is it you that has an interest in a alcoholic beverage license elsewhere?
Yes, but
And-
right now is not active, the license.
Can you tell us about that license, please?
The license I call Hardwick Tavern, and I own the property there, 8 acres with a barn and a small building.
And where is that located, sir?
47 Spring Valley Road in Hardwick Township, New Jersey.
And you mentioned that it's not active. Can you tell us?
No, because but 4 years ago I had a small fire in the kitchen, and we knocked this place down. I mean the kitchen down, and we fix only in the dining room right now. But this is under construction right now.
So the restaurant is open, but you're not serving alcohol?
No open right now. It was open.
It was open, but it has not been open for 4 years.
Yes.
Do I have that right? Because there was a fire.
Yes.
Okay. So during the time that the restaurant was open and active, and you were serving alcohol, is that
Of
correct?
course, yes.
Right, and during that time, were there any issues with respect to underage drinking, over-serving, any violations on that license?
I had before more different restaurants with a license. I never had problems with this one or with the other. I never had problems with the liquor or the things like this.
Okay.
Always I'm there, and always I teach my help to do what you have to do.
Okay. What would you say is the length of time that you've had these two licenses? You've been in the business with a liquor license for how many years?
Almost I'm over 40 years in
40 years. And-
restaurant business. I had 3 more brothers, and I lost my brothers and my mother, my father. And I had from 1965 up to 4 years ago.
So,
And,
so until about 2012.
yes.
Okay, so that's a really long time.
Yes.
Just curious, how did you avoid having violations during that huge span of time?
No violations at all because we had a restaurant. We never had a bar only. Always we had a restaurant with hard liquor and beer and wine together.
Okay.
Almost in the restaurants we serve beer and wine
Okay,
and very little hard liquor.
okay. And is it your plan to sort of do in Baltimore what you did in New Jersey, which is to have a good presence?
Light restaurant, small. I have in my mind to make a small kitchen and serve like a very light sandwiches, things like that, and liquor.
Okay, okay. Those are all the questions that I have.
Okay.
Commissioner Greenfield?
Yeah, so the seller here is Juniper Spirits, is that correct? With
Yes,
Miss, just if you could tell us who the sellers are.
Okay, the sellers were present, they are present.
Okay.
The, let's see here.
I see Miss Helmbright.
Ms. Helmbright is the owner of the real estate. Actually, it's two sisters. And then JHJ Corporation is the corporate owner of the business and the liquor license.
Okay. And Mr. Katsopoulos, I hope I got the
Yes.
pronunciation
Very
correctly. Can you just explain to us how, I understand you live out of town, you'll be in town sometimes. My concern is just the management of the establishment. Are you keeping current staff? This seems, based on our information, that this is an establishment that hasn't had any violations. Well, one about 12 years ago, but seems to have a good record. Can you talk through kind of the employees, the management, how things will run
Yeah,
once
this
you...
is my job to talk to the employees, what you have to do. They have to, he's supposed to call for ID, and always the same way in
Okay.
bars and restaurants.
And one of your children will be on site, Mr. Previs said, every day?
I'll be there myself
Okay.
almost every day. Besides this, I have 3 more sons and my wife.
Okay, great. And then just one question for Mr. Previs. Did I hear you correctly when you said that this case came up too quickly? Is that that's a good thing?
Yeah, that's a good thing.
Okay, I
Yeah.
just want to hear that.
It did, in that Ms. Bartling, working in an emergency veterinary
Yeah, no,
hospital.
I'm
needs
tongue-in-cheek, but-
lots of advance notice to
No,
schedule
kudos
time
to the
off. But
staff
yeah,
for getting
absolutely. Yeah.
this set so quickly.
It
Thank
means
you.
we had a completed application, Mr. Commissioner.
And good job, Mr. Previs. Thank you. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Anything further? Okay. On the basis of the evidence that we've received in support of the transfer of ownership of this license, we have no record of any opposition or actually any support either, other than the testimony presented here today. Having heard Mr. Katsopoulos and his long experience in New Jersey with a successful operation, and the fact that his family is going to continue to manage this facility and the plans that have been made for the financial arrangements, I would approve the transfer of the license.
I concur.
I concur as well.
Thank you very much.
Good luck to you.
Thank you very much, too.
Ms. Russell, is there anything else to go on that record?
No exhibits for the record.
Okay, thank you.
Andrew Klimkowski, 32 North Chester Restaurant LLC, trade name pending, 32 North Chester Street. This is a Class D beer and wine license, an application to transfer ownership from a secured creditor, and a request for outdoor table service. Please come forward.
Counsel?
Abraham Hurdle for Andrew Klimkowski and 32 North Chester Restaurant LLC. The trade name will likely be Butcher Hill Social. It has not been filed yet, but at the moment, that's what we're looking like.
Okay, thank you.
with
Can we
me
have
is
him sworn?
Andrew Klimkowski.
Is this gentleman going to testify as well?
Yes, Mr. Mitchell will be
Can
testifying
I
as
ask you
well.
both to raise your right hands and come up to the microphone?
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And Mr. Mitchell, is that your last name?
Yes.
What's your first name?
Malcolm.
Thank you.
Okay, you may proceed.
With me is Mr. Klimkowski and Mr. Mitchell. Mr. Mitchell will be the chef at the restaurant. He will be kind of directing the food operation there. Mr. Klimkowski has got several years in the restaurant business, and he is a big beer enthusiast. I do have some pictures of the restaurant. It is, I think it's difficult to get perspective of the location without looking at the pictures, because they really did a great job on the renovation, if I may. We did have a couple pictures in the file, but these did not make it in. The location opened in February under the previous operator. For a variety of reasons, it didn't work out, and the secured creditor took the license back. Mr. Klimkowski is taking over at this time. I do have some copies of the menu as well.
If you give one to Ms. Russell. And then. Thank you.
And I also
You're
have
very calorie-oriented.
With the food, I deal with
the last thing I have. I only have one copy. I apologize, and maybe we can kind of pass it down so Ms. Russell gets it last. And I'm not sure how to describe it. How would you describe it, Mr. Mitchell, what this document is?
It's my press kit, basically.
It's press kit. Mr. Mitchell's a bit of a celebrity chef, and I'll have him explain some of the shows and I guess things that he's been on, some of his accomplishments. In the packet that was received by the liquor board, we also have a copy of the floor plan. I think the pictures kind of show it a little better. In addition, there is an MOU in the file, and the MOU does indicate support from the Butcher Hill Association. It has various restrictions and kind of agreements that have been kind of come to, including some hours restrictions and as well as music outside. One of the big ones when this was being negotiated was ideally when deliveries were going to be made at the location because it can affect the traffic in the area very aggressively. And it's always been our intent to avoid having the deliveries affect the traffic if possible. The morning can be very busy in the area. And I do think that is in the file. If not, I can certainly give you my copy.
We do have it. Do we need a copy, Ms. Russell?
No.
No,
And we
I
do
think
agree
we're
that those can be, restrictions on the license at this time.
Now, we've received a letter to whom it may concern. Letter's not signed, but there's some, I guess this is part of it, from the Highlandtown Plaza Co-op neighbors who opposed this. Have you seen this?
No, I haven't seen anything about that.
Is anybody present from that organization?
We had no idea that there was any resistance. This was an elaborate and ongoing discussion when the license transferred to the previous owner. The neighborhood, in my experience, having sat down through those negotiations, was basically thrilled to have something that was going to be open kind of these hours, because it kind of keeps some things, kind of just keeps people in the area, keeps certain people out of the area. And again, as you can see, the renovation was
Mr.
Pretty thorough.
Klimkowski, are you familiar with any of these names?
Petition.
Have any of these people spoken to you?
Mr. Chairman, I've been told that that letter is not for this particular case.
Oh.
So if we
I
could-
have
Why
no
was it
idea.
given to me?
It's not well done.
Okay. Okay. Then I withdraw all of that. Thank you.
Adds up perfectly.
Okay.
Little curveball there.
In the packet as well, we also have an affidavit from a patron who attended the
Yeah.
bar when it was open in March, as well as some pictures from that event under the previous operator, just to show that they were open. I did notice that on the packet, it indicated that there had not been a chance to inspect it. And there's some pictures there that show that it was in fact open and operating and so forth.
Yeah, I was curious when I saw that affidavit as to what its relevance was.
It had been brought to my attention that there were some concerns that the restaurant had opened in February, and the board had not had a chance to inspect it to be open. Despite the fact that the license was taken back by the secured creditor and the application was filed inside of the 180 days from when the license was issued, we just wanted to make sure that it was an easier
So you
option for you.
solicited someone to submit an affidavit to say that you were open and operating, and you picked somebody who was upset that they wanted white wine and they could only get red?
Apparently, they were very upset. It was a rough, apparently it was a rough opening. So,
I'm not sure you want to go into this dark night. It sounds pretty perilous.
Okay. Do the commissioners have questions for Mr. Klimkowski or counsel?
I guess my question is, clearly there's an issue about dates and timing, and that's always a sensitive issue here at the board. So my question is, the license transferred, looks like it transferred February 23, 2016, and there's an application to transfer again July 8, 2016. Between February 23rd and July 8, has the restaurant been open and operating?
yes, and that's what the affidavit and pictures are from, absolutely.
Okay, I'm asking you. So,
I didn't attend the restaurant's opening. I
Okay.
can't testify to that. I would
okay,
be not, I wouldn't be.
okay.
Mr.
So,
Klimkowski, have you been to the restaurant while it was open and operating?
I was not at that event, but I was at another fundraiser where it was operating, yes.
and when was that fundraiser?
I believe it was also in February.
Okay. Is there anyone that can tell us whether this license was in use, the restaurant was open and operating? Is it open and operating now?
No.
No. When did it close?
We took the license back in, I want to say the application made in May, is my belief. I checked the application packet, and I don't have anything in there with regards to May. I think it was May, though, I believe.
Okay. All right. Well, it's less than 180 days
Yeah,
between.
and the date that I think our hearing is only a week past 180 days, and the application was 5 months, I think, inside of 5 months, and the May deadline was 3 months, roughly.
Okay. Can you explain the ownership setup? Mr. Klimkowski owns 1% of Northchester Restaurant LLC, remainder owned by 32 Northchester Holding. Can you give us a breakdown of the ownership interests here?
I'll do my best. I'm not a tax attorney.
Can he answer? I mean, you should know it at the top of your head, right? Because it's you, right?
Kind of. I leave most of that to the lawyers.
Well, I want to hear your best explanation, because I think you should be able to tell us what you're doing, right?
Sure.
Because you
I
want us
mean-
to be able to help you do what you
Yeah.
think you want to do.
I'm in there basically what my role is in it.
I want to hear about the ownership structure, please.
Sure. I own 1% with my partner, who's the LLC. I kind of just help with the running and functionality, neighborhood outreach, and most of the beer and wine choosing and setup. And then I brought in other people like Malcolm because I don't have as much experience with food and actually operations. So I'm there primarily as an interested party and a beer connoisseur, I guess.
Okay. And who else have you brought in? You brought in Malcolm, and then who else?
So we brought in Malcolm, who's working to bring in our GM, some other chefs, and
When you
our
say
our staff.
RGM, do you mean like our possessive general manager?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And who is the general manager?
We haven't chosen a general manager
Okay.
yet. I've chosen a chef de cuisine, so I have that.
Okay, who will be the chef de cuisine?
Andrew Follis is his last name.
Okay.
Is the chef de cuisine.
Microphones, please.
You use the microphone.
Okay. Yep. So you've got a chef de cuisine.
I have a chef de cuisine there.
Okay, and that's Andrew somebody.
Follis.
Andrew Follis.
Pheous.
Okay. in this whole amalgam, has anyone taken an alcohol awareness training?
I've taken alcohol awareness, TAPS training, Serve Safe certified,
Okay.
and also our CDC,
And what is the CDC?
Chef de Cuisine. He'd be
Okay.
under me.
Okay.
Mr. Klimkowski will take the alcohol awareness before the license is issued.
Okay. Okay, those are all the questions I have.
Mr. Chairman, the only question I have is related to the deliveries. I know that seemed to be a community concern, and it is addressed in your MOU with the community, which I appreciate that you've engaged with the community. Can you just talk to me practically about how you're going to control the deliveries during non-operating hours? I know we've had cases before where that's been an issue. If you could just explain that to the commission.
That's more just normal operations, getting in touch with your liquor reps, your food reps, making sure they stick to the timelines, making it very clear that we don't get deliveries at 8 a.m. You know, they come when they're supposed to come, or they wait until they're supposed to be there.
So you have experience in
Yes.
working? Okay, thank you. I have nothing further.
So what do you mean deliveries will wait until they're supposed to be there?
A lot of the times, I know a lot of people in the food industry get this, but they will just be in the area and they'll think, I'll show up and see if anybody's there. We don't allow that to happen. So
Okay, and how will you, when you say they will just wait until they're supposed to be there,
they'll
how?
go on their other runs.
Okay.
They will come back at the correct time. They won't just wait there on the street.
That's where I'm
Yeah.
headed.
And it's going to be difficult, just to interject in that, but it's going to be difficult for them to come in just because the school's letting out. So we're going to have our deliveries come in between 11 and probably 1 o'clock, and then anytime after, like 4 o'clock for the
How
delivery.
close are you to the school?
Right next to the school.
And what school is it?
That is
Or
Commodore.
Aaron Rodgers? Isn't it Aaron Rodgers?
Aaron Rodgers Commodore, yeah.
And the license is already located?
The license has been there for, I think the application has it. I'm sorry, let me see. It's been there for quite some time, to my knowledge.
That's correct, Commissioner. The license has been there for many, many years.
Okay.
And that was one of the discussions that we had. Part of the MOU was making the community feel comfortable. And one of the issues they had was apparently this corner had become, for lack of a better term, a bit seedy in the past. And they figured that if someone came in and brought in a nice restaurant, nice location, that would help clean things up. And you know, that's one of the reasons they were very excited to negotiate the MOU, but also wanted certain restrictions in terms of, I think one of the issues is they didn't want people drinking outside early in the morning, which altogether seems very reasonable with the school nearby. And again, they didn't want the deliveries during kind of school opening hours because of the traffic.
So there's a request for outdoor table service. Can you talk to us a little bit about that plan and how outdoor table service will be managed, given the proximity to the school?
Sure. So these
If
ones
you could come a
actually-
little closer and speak into the
These
microphone.
ones actually have pretty wide sidewalks. I helped with all, you know, we went out, we measured, we did the application, we went through minor privilege, everything like that. Most of them are going to be on the Fairmont side. I believe it's 3 total. There's going to be 2 on the Fairmont side, 1 on the Chester side. They stick right on the building, so it's not an issue of getting in the way of anything like that. And again, it's a beer and wine license, so it's going to be very minimal as far as impact. As in, there's not going to be people, you know, taking shots outside near the school. It's going to be somebody having a nice glass of wine or one of our craft beers that we're going to have on tap.
And I haven't read the MOU. Is there a restriction on the hours for the outdoor table service?
My recollection is there is, and I think there's a limit on the number of seats too, but I can't recall.
There's nothing.
Outdoor seating,
Yeah.
yes. It's section 2 of the MOU. Outdoor seating may only be provided, such accommodations are permitted. It must comply with city rules. Licensee must sweep the area, and there must be no outdoor music. And the seating plan must comply with minor privilege. Minor privilege is who dictates the number of seats, the arrangement of the seats, things of that nature.
So I guess my question is, like, what are the hours for the outdoor table service?
As far as the hours, I mean, I don't see how they would really differ from the business hours. We are going to be open to be serving coffee, you know, somewhat in the morning.
So is it your intent to serve alcohol outside from what, 9 a.m. to, or 8 a.m.?
I don't know if we'd
Just
be-
tell us what your plan is.
I
Don't
wouldn't
make
be
me
planning
guess.
to serve anybody alcohol.
Tell
at
me
9
what your
a.m.,
plan
but,
is.
I suppose if someone wanted to come in and get a beer, that would be something that they could
Andrew, Mr. Klimkowski, I guess my question is if I could just be really direct.
Sure.
What's the plan for outdoor table service of alcohol?
do. It would be available during business hours.
And your business hours are what?
Dinner, we're doing dinner service, so we wouldn't have, dinner service will be from 5 o'clock to about 11 o'clock. So we will have downstairs, we'll have coffee, danishes, and things of that nature. But it's not that we'll be serving alcohol
Okay.
during 9 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, because
We-
my concern is, and just in all the years I've been, all the years, this hasn't been that long, but in the time that I've been on the board, there's always a concern about alcohol and exposing school children to it and to its consumption, and the concerns escalate as time goes on. I'm inclined to, I just want to know, is there a plan to serve alcohol outdoors at a time when children will be passing by on their way to school or on their way home from school?
I'm sorry,
I wouldn't say
Commissioner
that
Moore.
because we,
If you look at page 2 of your own MOU,
The MOU H.
it clearly spells out outdoor dining. H,
Yes,
page 2?
yeah. It's under section 1.
So if you're providing outdoor dining, you should not
Yeah.
serve just alcohol. If your patrons are seated, they should not just have beer and wine.
Oh, correct, there's always going to be
Correct.
served with food.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
absolutely.
So, but it's spelled out in your MOU. I think that's what the commissioner is asking.
is that correct?
It, it's your
I
MOU.
don't really think it's a complicated question. My question really is, are you going to be serving alcohol outside during school hours?
The outdoor dining is permitted per the MOU between 9 a.m. and 10 p.m., and it goes to 11 on weekend hours.
So after school, yes. Before school, no.
Okay, and
To,
to be very
simple.
clear, you are not serving alcohol in the morning hours. It's your intent to serve alcohol outdoors with food after school is over, which is about 3 p.m., 4 p.m. So dinner.
Well, after school is basically once school is in, which usually is about 8 to 8:30. That would be, we open at 9 for food and dining outside, which would be, and don't get me wrong, we put a lot of money into this building. It's not going to be something where it's not a classy affair, I guess. If someone's there at 2 p.m. and they want to have a glass of wine, it's going to be something that we are going to allow. If somebody's coming off of work from Johns Hopkins and they sit down because this is their afternoon and they have a beer, that is something that could happen. Is it our intent to serve beer when kids are coming into school? No. It's not going to start until 9 a.m., which is after school starts, but it will be there when it gets out of school, which is around 3 p.m.
Okay, don't get me wrong. My concern is exposing children to alcohol. And it's not that it's a bad thing. It's just something that we have keen interest
Sure.
in controlling. Okay?
Mhm.
Okay. Thank you.
And that's why we work so closely with the neighborhood association as well.
Okay. Did you work with the school?
Yes.
Okay.
I believe they were present at that fundraiser, at one of the ones in February, because one of my associates met the vice principal and the principal as well.
Okay.
So we have been in talks with them.
So they attended the fundraiser, but did you have any real communications about your operations and
we've
what
been
your
in touch with
intent
them.
is and
Yep.
how you plan to operate?
Mhm.
You have.
We continue to plan to continue that up, those discussions. Should there be any concerns from the school, our goal is to address them without having to have any issues.
Okay, and you're going to stay involved? You think?
Hope so.
Okay.
Plan.
All right. Thank you very much.
Anything further?
No.
Okay. On the basis then of the evidence that's been presented of a well-planned operation, the exhibits that will be received in evidence with respect to the design of the building and the menu that will be available, the testimony that's been presented with respect to that, the memorandum of understanding with the Butchers Hill Association, which is rather detailed and provides a number of restrictions on the use of the license, all of which are agreed to and made part of the license at this point. The board having no opposition on record to the transfer of the license, I would vote to permit the transfer and approve the request for outdoor table service.
I concur.
Okay, I support the transfer, and I'm opposed to the request for outdoor table service.
Okay?
Thank you, Commissioner.
Back
Will
to
you be
you.
excused?
Yes.
Thank you.
Motion to introduce exhibits into the file. Licensee Exhibit 1, photos of the building. Exhibit number 2, menu. Licensee Exhibit number 3, press kit. And licensee Exhibit number 4, MOU.
Thank you.
Priscilla Arezame and Blanca Prescry, Ecstasy Bar and Restaurant LLC, treated as My Cousin's Place, 3925-27 East Lombard Street. This is a Class BD7 Beer 1 liquor license, an application to transfer ownership, and the request for outdoor table service. Please come forward.
Mr. Maslin.
Morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. For the record, Gary Maslin on behalf of the applicants. This is an applicant transfer an existing BD7 license. My clients have had experience in operating restaurants in the past. They each have taken the course in.
Before you go through all that, can we swear them, please?
Yes, sure.
Ladies, if you'll step up to the microphone, raise your right hand.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
And can you each state your name into the microphone, please?
Priscilla Rizari.
Blanca Pesquera.
Thank you. Mr. Maslin?
Yes, and if I could submit, both of the applicants have certificates, alcohol awareness certificates.
That's good, Ms. Russell.
Ms. Russell?
They have reached out to the community associations. The seller is a member of the community association, the landlord, and he's continuing to work with them in their efforts to make a harmonious transfer of this business. This business has been approved. The previous owner is a detailed plan. This is the zoning board appeal where everything's been approved. There's a permit on record for the outdoor table service, live entertainment, et cetera, is there. It's our client's intent to expand there's a very limited food offering in this establishment. They're more food oriented and they want to expand the food offerings. And here's their a menu, which they have created, offering the various food selections that they will have in that area. Their proposed hours of operation are from 11 a.m. to 2 a.m. 7 days a week. On the weekends, they intend on employing a security guard to check IDs. They're going to have someone at the door on the weekends checking IDs, and during the week, the staff inside will be checking IDs. So no one will be admitted on the weekends unless they produce a valid ID in order to get into the establishment. They understand their responsibility as licensees to make sure that there are no sales of alcohol to minors. They have been fingerprinted. Their fingerprints should be in the file. They're highly qualified individuals, put a lot of time and effort into their plans to make this place more successful, more appealing to the community by their offering of the larger food items. And these young ladies are anxious to take over this operation.
So this is a tavern, a neighborhood tavern
Yes.
with expanded food service and you said live entertainment?
Yeah.
And what is the live entertainment?
They have, I believe, a disc jockey there. They have small bands that come in and play. It's not a very large facility, but there's a small.
Is that during the week, weekends, or when?
That's primarily it's the weekends. It's not during the week. Their intent to offer live entertainment on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
And what is the outdoor table service plan?
There's a detailed plan along with that, what I submitted to you. It's a
BMCA.
detailed scale drawing that was already been approved, and it's an existing facility. It's all,
So how many tables?
there are, how many tables? There's only 4 to 5 tables there. If you look on the back of that, you'll see a scale drawing showing the,
That's why I went to law school. I can't read these. Okay. Just, is this, the existing license has this as well, or not?
Yes, yes. You cannot see the tables from the street. There is a fence there that obscures the, they're not accessible, no one can see it. There's a fence that secludes the outdoor table area from any view of the people on the street, correct?
So the opposition that I unfairly presented to Mr. Hurdle is actually intended for your case. Have you
Yes,
seen this?
Yes, I believe that, I did. I think that this opposition, well, I didn't see this letter up. I don't believe any of these people are here. There is this place has been there, I think, maybe 50, 60 years. There is a retirement home that was built maybe 5 or 6 years ago, and all of these people who signed this opposition live in that retirement home. We don't even know why.
Careful where you're going here about elderly folks.
I'm right there with you. I might even be ahead of you. But these individuals, I asked the old owner if he knew anything about it. He indicated they're not even patrons of this establishment. He has no idea why.
I think, if I read it correctly, their concerns have to do with trash and that sort of thing. So what are the plans about cleaning up and maintaining the place?
Well, it's their intent to maintain it in an orderly fashion. Where do you have any?
Extremely clean. We're planning even to clean the sidewalk with pressured water.
Daily?
No, weekly maybe.
Weekly, okay.
Water's very expensive in the city now.
It just went up.
Yeah.
It's a
Yesterday.
big problem.
Okay. Anything further, commissioners?
So if I could, so one of the concerns from a letter submitted that has no signature on it, which, you know, but raises the issue of live entertainment and the noise. Can you speak to how you will address the noise in the live entertainment?
Well, I don't believe there's been any complaints. There's been live entertainment at this place for
Right.
the last 30 years, and they've never complained. The problem is when this notice of transfer got put on and they saw that there's live entertainment, all of a sudden, they're going to have live entertainment. Well, if it's not a problem now and hasn't been a problem for 30 years, I don't believe it is going to be a problem. But they're certainly going to be responsive to any complaints or contacts they receive from the community, and if it's disturbing them in some way, they'll certainly turn down the music or do something to soundproof the area so that it's not heard from the outside.
And to your point, Mr. Maslin, just so we're clear, the anonymous letter does say now they want to add, and the fact is that it's been
existing.
there.
It's existing. Nothing's really changing here.
I have nothing further.
Commissioner Moore?
I guess my question is the outdoor table service. It looked from the drawings like it was going to be like a backyard area, like an area behind the building. Is that?
Well, it's existing right now.
Yeah, it's existing, but
Right.
what if you were to continue beyond that yard? Is that where you would get to the senior housing place?
I don't even know where the senior housing, I think the senior housing is several doors away. Mr. Cadency, he's more familiar with the area than I am.
You'll have to have him sworn.
We need to have him sworn.
I'm gonna have to pay him.
Well, there you go. There's more than one
No,
way.
apparently it's across the street.
Okay, because in reading the letter, what's being complained over, the kinds of things that the anonymous complaint. I mean, those are and it's okay to complain anonymously for this board, actually. those are the kinds of things that we hear, and people would, obviously have the right to bring you back if that happens. So when you say that you'll be power washing the sidewalk maybe every week, maybe speak more specifically about the plan to clean up on a daily basis.
I'm extremely clean, so that's not gonna be an issue.
Okay, and you'll have staff that will follow your lead
Yes.
and make sure that the area is clean. We have held licensees responsible for when their guests leave and leave bottles and cups, and that's one of the things that's complained of. So would your cleanup plan include taking care of those kinds of things that are part of, the kinds of things that we know that guests do engage in? And your answer is yes.
Yes.
Okay. The name, is it going to be My Cousin's Place? The name of the restaurant?
Are you going to change it to
or-
Ecstasy
Yes.
Bar? It's Ecstasy Bar and Restaurant.
And you're committed to that name?
Okay.
I'm just curious.
I mean, actually, I think it was My Cousin's Place once removed at one point in time.
So it's going to be Ecstasy? Yes? I mean, this is just a side question. Yeah. That's the name.
Es el nombre, ¿verdad? Yes.
See, okay, all right.
I think
Thank
that's
you.
a C.
I just have one
That's a
quick
yes.
question, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Irizami?
Irizarry.
Sorry. Can you just
They don't have an adult.
tell us a little bit about your experience, so we have some testimony to your experience in running this kind of an establishment?
Yes, I worked for a bar for a year in Dundalk, and then I was transferred to a new location and worked there for 8 to 9 months, I believe so. And I worked from bartending, waitress, cleaning, managing, all in one, location.
Okay, thank you.
Anything further?
Nothing further.
Okay. Then thank you on the basis of the evidence that's contained in the application for the transfer of ownership of the license and for outdoor table service, on the basis of the submissions this morning by council and the testimony of the licensees about their plans for operation of this bar and restaurant at 3925 27 East Lombard Street. I would vote to approve the transfer of ownership and for the outdoor table service. I will say this, you probably should reach out to somebody at this retirement community, because they're already anticipating problems with noise and that sort of thing. So when your license is up for renewal, to avoid any protests and that sort of thing, it'd probably be good if you reach some understanding with them and try to accommodate their concerns. But I would vote for approval this morning.
I concur.
I agree.
All right.
I vote to approve.
Good luck.
Thank
Makes it
you.
unanimous. Thank you. Nice seeing you.
At this time, I'd like to call the exhibits into the record. Licensee Exhibit 1, Alcohol Awareness Certificate. Exhibit number 2, Zoning Appeal. Licensee Exhibit number 3, Menu. Board Exhibit 1, Petition. And Board Exhibit 2, Community Letters. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Page?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Sung Young Lee, Song Ja Lee, and Craig Young, Song 618 Inc., trading as Slim's Liquors, 3214 Hollands Ferry Road. This is a Class A beer, wine, and liquor license, an application to transfer ownership. Please come forward.
For the record, Melvin J. Kadensky, 19 East Fayette Street, representing the applicants.
Mr. Kadensky, before we start, again, on my conflicts check, the name of Song Lee came up. Which one is Ms. Lee? You are?
Both
Okay.
Mr.
Well, let's swear everyone first. Please raise your right hands.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, and each one of you state your name, please, into the microphone.
Yeah. 승용리 1911 Broadway Road, Routerville, Timonium, Mara 21093.
송젤리 1911 브로드웨이 로드 티모니움 메릴랜드 21093.
Craig Young, 2642 Marlborough Avenue, Baltimore, Maryland, 21230.
My question for Ms. Lee is, have you ever been represented in any capacity by lawyers at Whiteford, Taylor, and Preston?
Ms. Lee, I don't think so.
No? Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
Lee's a common name, I think.
These computerized conflict checks showed up 1,350 pages of potential conflicts. I didn't read them all, but I thought I would make a disclosure and inquire. Thank you. So you may proceed, Mr. Kadensky.
For the record, both Mr. and Mrs. Lee have a wealth of experience in the alcoholic beverage business. Mr. Lee had a liquor store at 214 North Highland Avenue from 1999 to 2014. Miss Lee had a liquor store at 2601 North Hilton Street. Unfortunately, during the unrest, the place was burned down, and it's now out of business. And she was there from 2011 to 2015. Mr. Young is the city resident. He lives right in the general area. He is, I think it's the Lansdowne Community Group there. He is, I'm sorry? Lakeland, I'm sorry. And he is familiar with the group and has been the liaison with them, with the community, and the community is at least in favor of the transfer of the license. They have already had the alcohol awareness certificates.
You give them to Ms. Russell, please.
And also, all three of the individuals have been fingerprinted. I have the results of them. They have the experience in the business, having operated. They're going to operate basically from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m., of course, closed on Sundays. The city resident lives within a block or two. He's going to be available if they need him, and also will be the bridge between them and the community group. So if there's any question of anything as to their operation, he'll be able to explain that to them.
Okay, thank you. The commissioners have questions?
I have no questions.
What was the name of the business at a 2601 North Hilton?
What was it called?
J&J liquor store.
I'm sorry?
J&J.
Tay&J Liquor Store.
Who's Slim?
So, you know,
Not you, Mr. Kadensky.
No, well, now you all may not remember this, but there was a place up in Hollandtown at Conklin Street called Slim Browse, the knee slapper place.
What's a knee slapper place? Oh, Jesus.
That's
We learned
bluegrass.
these.
Are you serious?
See, I'm trying to help you. That's that's bluegrass. And what you were talking about before, where they were talking the place, it was a car barn across the street from my cousin's place.
You and Mr. Priva seem to be related to
My
everyone.
cousin's place that we just heard?
Yeah. And on the corner is adult
kidding?
entertainment. Yeah.
See, that's where I was going, and I didn't want to ask them, but I don't think
And
that
there's
name
nothing
is
wrong with
really
adult entertainment now.
I'm not saying that there is, but just this is totally an aside. But when you're called ecstasy and you're not adult entertainment, I think you're just inviting some confusion.
It's like ebony and ivory. Should I go or should I stay?
I always say,
All right, let's move along. Do we have anything further?
Well, so anyway, it was the place. The name sounds familiar. Were there any violations for the liquor license that you had at Tay&J Liquors?
Tay&G, no. On Hilton Avenue, no.
Tay&G.
J.
J.
I have to confess, I got up at 3 o'clock this morning to finish a project, and I was so glad to have the coffee, but I clearly need more. 2601 North Hilton, no violations, correct? Okay, thank you.
And I think the gentleman from the neighborhood, he's going to ride herd on them, and it's a good person to have in there.
Okay.
Thank you. On the basis of the evidence that's contained in the application, that which has been presented this morning at our hearing, the proffers of counsel, testimony of the applicants, and the plans that are in place for the operation of this liquor establishment, I would vote to approve the transfer of ownership of the license.
I concur.
Oh, fine.
Thank you.
I agree.
Good luck.
Thank
of
you,
luck.
Mrs. Moore.
I'd like to call the exhibits into the record.
Please.
Applicant's Exhibit 1, Alcohol Awareness Certificate, and applicant Exhibit 2, Criminal Justice Background Check Receipts. Thank you.
Okay.
Yossi Priester Sorowitz, secured creditor, AAC HP Realty LLC, Harbor Place, 201 East Pratt Street. This is a Class B beer, wine, and liquor license. A request for hardship extension under the provisions of Article 2B 10-405A, 405D. Please come forward.
Good morning, or I guess good afternoon. Caroline Hecker, Rosenberg, Martin, Greenberg. On behalf of the applicant, I'm joined by my colleague, Justin Williams, as well as Valerie Whiteside, who's the general manager at Harbor Place. Ms. Whiteside's son, incidentally, is also with us. He's come up with the crazy idea that he may want to be a lawyer one day, and I think today's experience will probably cure him of that. So-
One can only hope. Did I read in the paper that you were going to get a big facelift at the Pratt Street Pavilion?
Yes, you did, and that is part of what brings us here today, actually. I guess, do you want to swear Ms. Whiteside, and then
Yes.
I can proceed by proffer, if that's
Raise
okay?
your hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. So with your permission, I'll proceed by way of a proffer.
Okay.
This license is the license that was formerly used by La Tosca Restaurant in the Harbor Place Pavilion. It was in the Pratt Street Pavilion at Harbor Place. AACHP LLC, Ashkenazi Development, is the ground lessee of the Harbor Place Pavilion. And when La Tosca closed at the end of last summer, it was last September, they closed. I've included in the file of exhibits that you have a article from the BBJ. When they closed, they ran into some difficulties due to the drop in tourism following the unrest of early 2015. They closed in September of that year. We filed the hardship extension request in March of this year, but for one reason or another, it hasn't been heard until today. We are actually, as it turns out, running into the end of the total 360-day period. In any event, towards the end of September, I think September 22nd would be the end of the hardship extension period if it
Do you
is
have a tenant
granted.
in mind?
We don't yet. We've been diligently marketing the restaurant for some type of new restaurant tenant, but the problem is, as you mentioned, that Ashkenazi is planning a larger overhaul of the whole Harbor Place Pavilion, and they've run into some difficulties with the new floodplain regulations in designing a new, given how close it is to the water, the city is requiring us to do some raising of the floor and some flood walls around the building, and we've been going through a design review exercise with the planning department to figure out how to do that in a way that is friendly to retail and not and make sure it's ADA accessible and whatnot. But that's been a more difficult process than anyone anticipated. It's taken longer than we thought it would. We don't have a tenant right now, but we have some leads, and we're optimistic that we will have something within the next couple of weeks that we'll be able to file prior to the end of the 360-day period, which, as I said, is coming up at the end of September.
Okay. Commissioners have questions?
No.
I do not.
Okay.
don't.
Based on the evidence that is in our file and that which you've presented here this morning, as well as the proffer, I would vote to approve the hardship extension.
I would as well.
I concur as well.
Thank you all.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Good luck.
No exhibits on that one?
Oh, exhibits.
Yes. I'd like to call the exhibits into the file. Licensee Exhibit 1 would be photos. Licensee Exhibit 2 would be a BBJ article. And Exhibit number 3, letter for Rosenberg, Martin, and Greenberg. Thank you.
Yep.
Dustin Page, personal representative, Anchor Service Company, Inc., trading as Save It Liquors, 329 and a half West 29th Street. This is a Class A beer, wine, and liquor license, a request for hardship extension under the provisions of Article 2B, Section 10-504D. Please come forward.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. David F. Mr. Winter, and Bartlett representing the personal representative of the estate applicant herein.
Good afternoon, Mr. Nice to see you.
I see you.
Can I ask your client to raise his right hand, please?
You swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. Preliminarily, I'd like to point out that, and I may not be in total agreement historically with what the administrators have said in this regard. Back in March, I filed a letter request to the board asking for their guidance upon the substitution of Mr. Page as personal representative, who happens to be a certified public accountant, by the way. If they agreed with me that in fact would toll the running of what was Article 2B, Section 10504D, because I believe that's true. That section referred to any application to substitute a personal representative under Article 2B, Section 10506, which, by the way, is now Section 4803 of the Maryland Alcoholic Beverages Code. And that, in fact, would act as a tolling of what is now Section 122202 of the Maryland Alcoholic Beverages Code.
Apparently, our staff has determined that your request is timely. Are you asking for something more than the 180-day extension?
No, I'm not. And as a matter of fact, it may be, shall we say, without significance because, by way of information, Mr. Page and I have been diligently working on trying to sell some of these assets to the estate, and we were able 2 weeks ago to in fact obtain an executed contract to sell both the real estate and the business assets of Anchor Services Company, Inc., which includes, of course, this alcoholic beverages license. And it does call for closing within 30 days of the effective date of the contract, which would obviously, before this board could ever act on any transfer of the license, but it's not a contingency to the sale, we'll cooperate, of course. So there's not going to be any running of any extended period of the 360 days. I only pointed out because I guess for my future practices, I think this is an issue. The way I interpret it is there are two things that effectively toll the running of that statute. One is an application to transfer the license. The other is an application to substitute a personal representative or perhaps a surviving spouse under what was 10506 and what is now 4-803. Because we did that back at the end of March, I think that effectively told the running of the time period. I have no objection to being redundant about it, and I would rather be double protected, so to speak, but I just point that out, and for my future experiences, perhaps with this board, I'd love to have the board's guidance if the board agrees with me in that regard.
Is Mr. Akras here?
He's not
He
here,
was
Mr.
here.
Chairman.
What difference does it make? I mean, I mean, why are you looking for prophylaxis if the staff have already said that there's no issue with the timing, and you want us to say it again?
Well,
Is that what you're asking?
Commissioner Moore, this is how it actually came up, because originally I said, I'm filing for the substitution of the personal representative. I believe that tolls the running of what was 10504D. The staff...
But there was a death, right?
Yes.
So what the statute that's implicated here is the old 10-506, which is now the new 4- blah, 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 blah. So under 10-506, I think that the license expires upon death, but then there's an immediate substitution, and you have 18 months.
That's correct.
So I believe that you're okay.
Oh, I agree. Just so you know why we're here, when I sent the letter in and sent that, the board thought it should be set in for a hardship hearing. So I certainly did object to it. And what happened then was we were scheduled for hardship hearing, I think, back in June. It got pulled from the
I see.
docket, and we're just now getting back. So the only reason I'm bringing that up is that I'm still sort of out there. I believe that I was correct in assuming that 10506 would have suspended the running of the 10504D provisions. And And I'd like to know for the future, because I may have a situation where I'm not so fortunate, where I can't find somebody to acquire a license within the 360-day period or something like that.
Oh, we may not be inclined to give advisory opinions. I suggest you have this conversation with Mr. Akris at your leisure, and I suspect you'll
I will
find
do.
that he's
Having been the architect of what it turned out to be 10504D, which was originally drafted and adopted by the legislature for Baltimore County as what's 10504E, I know it was our intention to have certain things stop that running in its tracks. One of them was the 10506 application.
You're probably correct. I'm going to vote to approve the hardship.
I would agree.
Oh, I concur. Yeah.
Thank you. Sorry to bore you with my
It was not at all
inane
boring.
questions
It was
about,
absolutely scintillating.
Thank you. Thank you. I was scintillated by also.
Yes, I can see why.
Part of the day.
It's just amazing stuff here
Thanks.
today.
Good luck.
Thank you
Hope-
very
hope
much.
the sale goes through. Mr. Page?
And then
Mr.
Take a break after this one. Can we take a break after this
Yeah, but this is the last one on the morning.
This is the last on the morning docket.
1 o'clock?
Ready. Sung Cho and Christopher Frizon, Port River Inc., no trade name pending, 1032 Riverside Avenue. This is a Class BD7, a beer, wine, and liquor license, and application to transfer ownership. Please come forward.
For the record, Melvin J. Kadensky, 19 East Fayette Street, representing the applicant.
Good afternoon. Can I ask these folks to raise their right hands, please?
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole
Yes.
truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes. Yes.
State your name and address for the record.
Sungjo, 2100 Ganton Green, 104 Woodstock, Maryland 21163.
Ivo Yamrosh from the Federal Hill Neighborhood Association.
You may have to spell your name.
Oh, sure. IVO. I've been here so many times. Last name is Jamrosz.
I have trouble with those Polish names all the time.
Understood. Go ahead.
All right, for the record, this is a transfer of a license. What you might remember from the Federal Hill Porters. It was there for years, and eventually the prior owner left, and the secure party had taken it back and then was looking for an operator, and found Ms. Cho, and she had operated a business in the Cross Street Market for about 15 or 20 years, a food operation. After that, she operated in Baltimore County, had a license out there for about 5 or 6 years, never had any violations, so she's familiar with the liquor laws and how to operate. She presently is going to have basically a, let's call it an American menu, whatever that may be nowadays. I'm not really sure. Be better if I had a Polish menu, but we unfortunately don't have them anymore. She's going to have a staff of about 10 people. She'll have most of those qualified under the alcohol awareness and also under Safe Serve. She has the alcohol awareness certificate, and I'll submit this to Ms. Russell.
Thank you.
She is also had the fingerprint, and I'll submit that.
Thank you.
And I have a letter on behalf of the owner of the building where he is actually in favor of the transfer, well, rightly so, because it's going to be a tenant, and was familiar with the applicant when she operated the food service business in the Cross Street Market. And I would submit that. I don't know if anyone wants to read it before you get to Ms. Russell, but basically, and I'll paraphrase, it's been conscientious, experienced, and be an asset and welcome to the community. We have a member of the community here from the association. We'll also back that up.
Okay. Did you wish to testify, sir?
Yeah, if you'll come up here, because they have meetings. State your name and address to the record, please.
Ivo Yamrosh, 810 William Street, Baltimore, Maryland, 21230. I'm the head of the Liquor Advisory Committee for the Federal Hill Neighborhood Association. We've had several meetings with the applicant, and we're very excited about Porter's coming back to life. They've agreed to sign an MOU that was with the previous owner of Porter's, and because of vacation schedules and things like that, It will be submitted next week, but they've agreed to sign on that.
And that will be part of the license?
Yes, that'll be part of that license, and if the board wants to make the approval contingent upon getting the signed MOU, that's a talk with the applicant, that would be appropriate. I talked with the gentleman here, and it was just a matter of time-wise, they couldn't get everything in place, but then they've had numerous meetings about what they want.
Is that because our commission is moving these cases so quickly?
You know, as they
Just
say.
the opposite.
Thank you. Thank
What
you.
Caesar said when he crossed the Rubicon, proceed celeriter, it means with all possible quickness.
All deliberate speed. Anyway, anything further?
Nothing further.
Commissioners?
Thank you for working with the community.
Okay, on the basis of the evidence contained in the record and that which you've presented this morning, the proffers and the testimony from the neighborhood representative, and the fact that there's no opposition to this and that there's going to be an MOU executed with them, I would approve the transfer of the license subject to this sign-off on the MOU.
And I guess so, I mean, I concur, but clearly the MOU is attached to the license. It's part of the
Absolutely.
license, and that's voluntary. She consents to that. Yes?
Correct, you
Okay.
consent.
Yes, okay. I support, I approve.
And I concur with my colleagues.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Can I just add one thing?
Yes?
This is the first time Mel and I have been on the same side of any story here.
Oh, my gosh.
I got him to
What
come
is
over.
the- oh, it's September 1st.
I got him to
of
come over
course.
to the dark side finally.
Are we still on the
Thank you
record?
very
Are we
much.
still on the record?
What? Can you put that in the record?
Exhibits, we gotta wait till the exhibits, then we can do this.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to call the exhibits for the record. Applicant Exhibit 1, Alcohol Awareness Certificate. Applicant's Exhibit Number 2, Background Check Receipt. And Applicant's Exhibit Number 3, Letter of Support from Landlord. Thank you.
I think that concludes our morning docket.
It does,
We
Mr.
resume
Chairman.
at 1 o'clock.
All right,
Yes.
thank you.
Just for the boards, I'm going to do the case.
I go to bed at 11. Mr. Abreu and Ms. Hernandez. Just the two of them? You got 3 minutes.
Just the two ladies.
I have two, okay, what's the gentleman's name? This doesn't matter, if it's just one, we'll get it. Just testify.
Putting it out on the docket for today. What are these for?
German DEMA, that's your.
Oh, I'll stay out of it. Okay, whatever you guys say. No problem.
So Zach is additional. We should put those ahead.
Okay.
I'll stay out of it.
Okay, thank you.
Nelson Greenhill coming? I'm ready when you are, Mr. Page.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
On the 1 p.m. docket, Alexandra Abra and Maria Hernandez, El Estanco LLC, trading as El Estanco, 45 North Crescent Street. This is a Class D beer, wine, and liquor license. Here for violation of Rule 4.05A, prohibited hours on April the 16th, 2016. Violation of Rule 4.05A, prohibited hours on August the 6th, 2016. Violation of Rule 3.03C, records on August the 6th, 2016. Violation of Rule 3.01, ownership and operation on August the 6th, 2016. Please come forward and raise your right hand. Mr. Chairman.
For the record, Melvin J. Kanensky representing the licensees who are both present.
Good afternoon. Can I ask them to raise their right, everybody who's going to testify, please raise their hand.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
All right, on this side, ladies, if you will step up to the mic and state your name, please.
Alessandra Abreu.
Get a little louder, please.
Alessandra Abreu.
Good afternoon.
Maria D. Hernandez.
Good afternoon.
German Dimas.
Do you need any spellings? No, I've got those. Okay, and on the other side?
Chief Inspector Mark Fossler, Baltimore City Liquor Board.
Inspector Chris Malice, Baltimore City Liquor Board.
Detective Abraham Gatto, Baltimore City Vice.
Inspector Andy Perez, Baltimore City Liquor Board.
Okay. Mr. Kadensky,
We're going to proceed by way of admission. Everything we have here is probably in way of more of mitigation. It is in a way of mitigation. And it's not that part. So that to make it simpler, they would admit that they were open past 1 o'clock on those dates, and that they didn't have the correct employee records, and that the owner-operators were, and I'll explain what happened for that.
okay.
And we could agree to submit the report and the records as are in the file, or?
That's fine. So, Ms. Russell, has all this been made part of the record?
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm assuming that you're going to make a finding, so I'll just go right into mitigation. Is that okay?
You may.
All right. The problem that we have here, and I think it's not a problem, is that there was a miscommunication between, and they're related. And the problem is that the ladies want to get out of the business, and he wanted to get into the business. They didn't have any formal paperwork between the two of them, so of which some money changed hands, and then he was managing, although they were only there a couple hours during the week, the two licensees. We're in the process now, and I do have a copy of at least the application, which we're getting together at this point. You might find this hard to believe, but it's tough getting people who know them, who are both voters and citizens and the whole 9 yards on it. But we expect to have this application within a week or 10 days on account of the holiday. In the meantime, I've absolutely explained to them, and they understand, 1 o'clock means 1 o'clock. And 1 o'clock, nobody should be in the place other than a licensee or 1 or 2 people who are cleanup, not have drinks on the bar, not have meetings of the employees. Everything should be cleared off by 1 o'clock, and you have 1 or 2 people who could be cleaning up. And that's the rule. In the meantime, I said about employee records, I said you should have employee records, which would include driver's license or other identification in a book. What they have done so far is that they've, and I'll submit this as a package, with regard to Mr. Demos now, is getting everything together. He has been listed on the credit card machine. He started the agreement with the pest control. He has almost all the people that you have there. They're all certified under alcohol awareness, and that was all done at the end of March. And I'll submit this as a package.
You may.
If I can.
Can I ask you a couple of questions before
Yeah.
you go forward? First of all, Ms. Abreu's name showed up also in our conflicts check. Has she ever been represented by my law firm?
Do you have any lawyers ever represent you from Whiteford Taylor? No? If you don't remember, you would know.
No, I don't know, no remember. I don't understand everything. The
No, no.
question.
You don't-
Were you ever represented by any attorneys?
Do you want him,
Andy?
to
Who's
translate
him?
for
What
you,
is he?
mine director?
Yeah, he could come over here if he wants.
Translate.
That's the question.
Well, I guess the question is whether she was ever represented by lawyers from Whiteford Taylor Preston, and if so, is she willing to waive any conflict?
Si alguna vez usted ha sido representada por los abogados, what was the law firm?
Whiteford Taylor Preston.
Whiteford Taylor.
No recuerdo.
Okay.
She doesn't remember.
All right. Thank you. Then the second question from you, Mr. Kanensky, was, so Mr. Demos, he's going to purchase this license?
Yeah, and unfortunately, what happened is some monies had changed hands between the relatives or cousins or some sort. And of course, they weren't. Everybody should have at least one lawyer. I've always said that, or teams, A, B, C, red, blue, green team. They didn't have anybody, and they came to see me, and Mr. Shawless was helping them, and he's starting to get the application and the thing together. So they would want to go forward and actually transfer to Mr. Demas, and they would stay on for a couple months to make sure everything is done properly.
But in the meantime, they had sort of backed out and he was running it?
No, each one of them are there a couple days a week, but they're not there in the evening hours, and I think that was the mistake. I probably know more about this place than most people, only because it's always been a 6-day, and it was right next to where SK used to have their slaughtering. They would keep all the pigs and all the cattle that they would, and it was during the day. It was a fairly popular place, and right behind the people who owned it were called Chesapeake Woodworking, and they bought the place. And then as they offered it to different people, the neighborhood went down, people who lived there went down to almost nothing, to some extent that most of the people in that area, are coming out of Latinos, and they're taking over. And it's hard to explain to them the difference between 1 o'clock, 6 and 7 day, but I think they have it. And probably, not that I should say, you do have your rules in Spanish, and you do have them in Korean. And I told them that we would download the Spanish rules for them so there'll be no mistake, because like they were saying, they have trouble on it. No, 1 o'clock is 1 o'clock. It's posted that way. You cannot be in there. Nobody drinking, only cleanup people.
And because they were told that on the 6th, and they came back 10 days later and they were still doing it.
Well, he said that they were having a meeting. So take that argument up the street, okay? I got it. And, I would be honest about it. I said, I'm not going to go ahead and make it more, you can't make chicken salad out of chicken dung. You can. It's not going to taste real good. No, it is what it is. And I said, you better just tell them what you're going to do, go forward, so we don't have to run into this problem again. And when the license, if the board would see fit to transfer, he forewarned is forearmed at this point, because he's here. He hears it. He knows what it is. Can't come in and say, I don't understand that.
I misspoke, actually. It was April and then again in August.
August,
so,
right.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Is there anything further by way of mitigation?
No, I mean, we're, try to make it as best they can with them to try to run a business. I think the ladies want to finally get out of the business, and, it's tougher for them in the evenings, and they need, Mr. Dimas, he said, well, I'll come in and run it and do it that way. It's not in the garden spot of the world, if you've ever been over there. Actually, it's right around the corner from my cousin's place, and the adult entertainment place, but that's neither here nor there.
Well, they were here a year and a half ago and had the exact same violation and were suspended for 3 days.
I'm not.
Yeah.
It is what it is. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to make it the best I can for them so they can stay in business and do what they got to do. And I guess I told them, just come here, and throw yourself on the mercy and explain what you're going to do in the future. That's what you want to hear, not, what they did. And we already admit that, I can't undo what they didn't do. And I think everybody here, I said, you can't go and say it didn't happen. You were there.
Okay. Do the commissioners have questions?
I don't have questions. I'm puzzled as to why we can't get it straight on the time.
I can't, I can't explain it. I do know, I can tell you this, and only because I'm drawing on my experience, that usually you used to have a problem with the Greek bazookia. They would think you could do bazookia at 4 o'clock in the morning because they can do it in Greece, except we're only like 6,000 miles from Greece. You can't do bazookia at 4 o'clock in the morning. And the common deal used to be in the old days that they would come in, they would be working all day, and they would come at 1:45, they would order 20 drinks. Oh, you couldn't take my drink from me because no, out of here. So we finally solved that problem. We have a similar situation, with the Latino population. We're trying to get them to say you've got to adhere to these rules or else you got penalties.
Right. I guess it's sort of what the chairman was alluding to, that, the liquor board went in and Vice went in April and probably made it patently clear that there was a violation, and yet here we are, August, it happens again. So
I can't.
And it's.
I can't explain.
Okay.
I mean,
All right.
we're doing, the best we can with the thing, and I think they would want to be able to at least to finish conveying it. And when they started, they should have had more paperwork, and they just didn't do it, and they didn't go through having them take the alcohol awareness and, and all the things they had to do and follow the rules and regulations. They didn't do it.
Okay. Nope, that's it for me.
I have nothing.
Okay. On the basis of the admission, the evidence that's been submitted in support of the violations in the record, I would find violations of Rule 4.05A, prohibited hours on April 16, 2016, and again on August 6, 2016. I'd find a violation of Rule 3.03C for failure to have employee records on August 6, 2016, and a violation of 3.01 ownership and operation on August 6, 2016, when the licenses were not available. I note that there was, back in January of last year, a similar violation, $500 fine, 3-day suspension, from which the parties don't seem to have learned a great deal. I would impose a fine this time of $600 and do another 3-day suspension over this holiday weekend.
So I obviously agree with the finding of the violations. More inclined to impose a fine of $1,000, which is $250 for each violation, and closing of 4 days, which would be Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And Sunday you're closed anyway, right? Yeah. Well, 4-day closing.
I concur with Commissioner Moore. I think this is, there's a history here of, as we know, and you've admitted it, which I think is appreciated, but I think the suspension should happen right away through the weekend, and I also support the $1,000 fine. And again, I agree with my colleagues that the licensee is in violation of each of the 4 counts.
Just to clarify that if the license will be suspended Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, whatever, then if it starts now, you're not going to count today's date, right? You will start
No,
tomorrow?
it starts tomorrow.
All right, that's okay. That's
Right,
what
and I just have to ask, are they normally closed on Sunday and Monday?
It's only a 6-day license.
It's a 6-day
So they
license.
close on Sunday, and I'm not
closed on
going to,
Sunday, yeah.
so I'm not going to try to,
Okay.
so then their suspension starts tomorrow on Friday, and then they'll have 30 days to pay the $1,000.
Yes, 30 days.
And I'll promise you that we're going to do the best efforts within the next 2 weeks to get an application in, so we don't run through the same thing.
Now, I just have to say, it's not advisory, but it is concerning that there's an intent to transfer the license to the person who is most responsible for the violations that we're addressing today, and you're aware of that.
We're going to address that and see whether we can get somebody else to go in there also along with them to give a little more buffer or protection on it.
Right,
We used to say, once bitten, twice shy. This is like once bitten, 3 times shy.
right.
And if I could, Mr. Chairman, I would just, following on Commissioner Moore, obviously, Mr. Demas, you will be coming back before this board on your transfer. And so my suspicion is that there will be questions related to these violations and what protective and procedural matters you've put in place to address that. So I encourage you to work with whomever you need to so that we can have those answers.
Okay, thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Chairman, can I ask your permission, board's permission, to ask Inspector Perez to convey what you just said?
Oh, good point.
That's fine.
Yes.
Do you want it on the record?
I think that would be helpful, just so
Okay.
there's clear understanding of where
Okay.
we are. Yeah.
Now you have to remember everything we said.
Yeah, this is a test.
And by the way, congratulations, this is your first time in front of the board. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Nice shirt.
Thank you.
Double XL.
Can you repeat one more time?
So the fine that was imposed was $1,000, and there's going to be a $125 administrative fee as well. And the suspension is for 4 days, beginning tomorrow through Monday.
Una multa por $1,000, 250 por cada falta. Encima de eso se le añade $125 de un fee administrativo, una suspensión de 4 días empezando mañana hasta el lunes.
Understood?
Sí.
Ask them if they understand. Okay, thank you. All right.
So, see, she's saying yes, this should be saying C back, right? I got it.
Russell?
I'd like to introduce the
Right.
exhibits into the file. Baltimore City Liquor Board Exhibit Number 1, Investigation Report from Mark Foster dated 4/18/16. Baltimore City Liquor Board Exhibit Number 2, Detective Gatto's Police Report dated 4/16. Exhibit Number 3, Investigation Report, Mark Foster dated August 6, 2016. And Police Report, Detective Gatto dated August 6, 2016. And the licensee exhibit 1, evidence package. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think that concludes our docket, Mr. Page.
It does, Mr. Chairman. The board is
Very
in
good.
recess until September the 22nd, 2016.
I know. What will we do? We will